It is now 1:15 on this Thursday, the 29th of July. August is inching closer and closer. I am Austin Reed. Hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. We're coming to you live from our Tower District studios inside the Mike Briggs building. Time to talk finance now. Joining us once again here in our studio is Sammy Franco. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be back.
Thanks for coming back. You had a nice little vacation.
Yes, got to get away.
Santa Cruz.
Escape the heat for a little bit.
Sounds so friggin' nice.
Yeah, it was nice.
I had messaged you because I wanted you to come on because I've been kind of following what's happening in the world of finance very closely lately. My stocks are not very good. I saw Amazon today hit $100 billion.
Yeah.
You know, some analysts are going back and forth on that story. What are you seeing?
It's a lot of speculation right now everywhere, just because of the climate of what's happening. You know, out of nowhere came this Delta variant, which shut it down for a little while because nobody knew what was going to happen. And then you get different reports. Anytime someone steps to a microphone, that affects the market. You know, and when that happens, unfortunately, everyone's just along for the ride. You know, so what I see happening is the end of this, I guess, hyperinflated market that happened at the beginning of last year when COVID hit and it shut down. So the government had to step in and do something. So they did. They printed money. They kept things going. You know, there were a lot of protections put into place, which are ending now. Biden tried to extend it, but there's no way they won't let him extend that. So luckily, there are a lot of things put in place for some people who were actually in need of those forbearance periods. But what I do see is some kind of reset happening. You know, whether there's a lot of conspiracy theories on a global reset to reset the global economy, to switch over to crypto. I mean, there's stories from left to right, A to Z. Everyone's got a theory. But what I see is there's going to be some kind of reset happen. I don't know if it'll be anything like '08 at all, but there'll be some loss. But I think it'll be a pretty quick recovery because a lot of people are educated now on how to invest. You know, there's a lot of people who will tell you invest in this, invest in this, invest in this. And there's a story that I heard about a Kennedy back before the Great Depression. He was getting his shoes shined, and he was saying that the kid who was shining his shoes was giving him stock tips. So he said, well, if the guy who's shining my shoes knows more about the market than I do, maybe it's time to get out of the market. And right after that, everything crashed. So you fast forward to today, and that's what it is right now. You look at Reddit, you look at, you know, Facebook. Everyone has an angle, and they're invest in this, or these are my favorites, or these are the top 3 stocks that are going to make me rich. You know, and you see it, and I'm watching it every day where people are getting rich quick, and then a month later they're making videos talking about how they lost everything. So if you have long hold investments and they've been working, hold them because they'll come out. You know, time in the market. If you have to be in the market, time in the market is better than timing it. And so, you know, they talk about long hold investments, but if you're good at that short trading, I mean, if you're good at it and you can make it work, then do it. But I see fluctuations coming, you know, and I don't see, you know, anything that indicates other than we're headed for that bear market.
So what are some of your clients saying? Are they very concerned?
Some of them are worried. You know, we tend to get a lot of people who come to us already in that position where they're not happy with their performance in certain market, you know, investments and want to work a different angle out of it. But yeah, they're a little worried and don't know what to do. So some people inside of 401ks are switching to what's called like the G fund, which is straight to cash. So there's no risk of an investment loss.
Okay.
Lets you hold your principal inside of that fund, but once you're ready, you can move it back into investments, and you don't see much growth at that point.
Now, this whole thing about cryptocurrency, I've heard that as well. Could you see that happening, or is that a little...
I just think that, you know, the government is going to regulate it, and I think everyone will see that coming. There's going to be some left standing. It's going to be around. I don't know if it'll go to a global reset. I think that, you know, somehow, some way, I mean, they're going to figure out a way to keep control over the money. There's no way that that's not going to happen.
Right.
So they're already in, you know, SEC lawsuits and sanctions filed against certain, crypto, I guess, outlets. But
Because there's so many of them now.
there's a ton. I mean, every other day there's a new coin. And so those altcoins are actually what are making people a lot of money, because it's kind of what they talk about, like the pump and dump, where they'll pump it up, it's a new coin that's out, and people will make a ton of money. And then the people who started that movement will pull the rug out from under everyone else who followed them. So that's why I believe there's going to be a lot of regulation coming in, because that is, it's a way to hurt a lot of people.
Right. So would you suggest people to invest in the cryptocurrency, or?
I suggest that before they do that, they invest in like self-education. Either ask a lot of questions, find out exactly which ones they're getting into, and even, testing the waters a little bit. But I mean, yeah, definitely. I think, people who have invested in Bitcoin have done pretty well. I'm looking at right now, they've had a rough week. The month has been bad, but we had a client who, through alternative funding, purchased a lot of Bitcoin. When it dropped to 30, it went up to 60. And then he pulled out his original investment, and then it dropped back down to 30. So like he's a little negative, but he still has his profit from the first one that he's going to buy this dip with. So there's a strategy to do it. Some of them will just say, hold it, to the moon. But you should always take out, I believe anyways, your initial investment, so that you're not left stuck without anything, and so.
What about Robinhood?
Well, as far as crypto goes, from what I understand, there's a lot of people who are not a big fan of Robinhood, but if you own Dogecoin or Bitcoin, you don't really own it. It's on their platform. It's hard to cash out. But I know that a lot of people still do use them, but yeah, as far as, I don't really have an opinion on them in one way or another. I don't use them. I do have like a Coinbase account. A TD Ameritrade is what I would use for that, or one of the big guys. TD Ameritrade, one of the big guys, Vanguard, something like that. That.
So people can, go to you for advice. You also do the tax advantage strategies.
Yeah, we do a lot of that. Has to do a lot with structuring cash value insurance policies.
Okay.
So when we go into that, and people can get into Roth IRAs, things like that. But when we deal with our tax advantage strategies, it's more so we get a lot of investors who want to drop their money somewhere to keep it safe before a real estate deal.
Okay.
So we fund these, whole life or index universal life policies that'll safely hold their money, but pay them anywhere from 6 to 15% on it, while they're holding it. You can do the same stuff with like a stable coin. You can stake it in crypto, and you can get, those loans. But it's that, and like portfolio loans, there's always a risk of margin loss. So if your collateral drops in value, they'll either ask for more collateral, or they'll close your margin on you, and you'll lose a lot of money. So reason why they like cash value insurance is they can leverage the policy, never put their principal at risk, and have as much time as they want to pay the principal back on whatever loans they take out. So we do a lot of those business accounts, investment accounts for through whole life or index universal life policies.
Check out Sammy at BeFinanciallyInformed.com. I'm now going to call you the CVT finance expert.
I appreciate that.
Sounds good?
Yeah.
Come back, every
Whenever,
so
we'll
often.
be back, yeah.
Appreciate it.
For
Good,
sure.
good information.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
All right, I'm Austin Reed. You're watching Central Valley Talk. We're going to take a quick break. We'll have much more coming up in just a bit.